I need that exclusive red coffee ready to go.
They have the limited edition box set. Move!
Record Store Day 2026. This is going to be a big one, boss. The crowd is getting crazy.
Patty cake, record man, play me a record as fast as you can.
Hey boy, this is the woman of my dreams. I love Record Store Day.
That record is mine, sir. No, it is mine.
This RSD single is mine.
No, I'm a bigger fan. It's mine.
I don't see any punk records here, sugar.
Y'all got that George Jones record? That's the one I want.
Oh yeah, it's right over there in the country section.
Thanks a bunch. I can't find anything I want. And why didn't I get some of Mazzy's donuts?
I don't really need any of these. I have a bad case of FOMO.
All right.
Okay.
I think we're live.
We have liftoff.
Yes, we have liftoff. All right. So, I gotta ask you guys, what out of everything that you picked up, what was the best?
Ooh.
That's what everything that you.
You know, I got a couple different criteria on how you look at that, right? Because there were so many things that I was excited for. But the way I'll go with it is what sounded the best, like, as far as for the fidelity and everything, which is interesting considering that they used a college to help mic it all. The Porcupine Tree that was recorded in Park Ave, and it's like 2007, I think it was, and it's an acoustic set. But there's a university here, Full Sail University, where they teach a lot of camera and audio stuff and whatever, but also a lot of computer animation and stuff like that. I think they helped mic everything, so essentially it was a university. But fidelity wise, this really jumped off the record. And I thought the mix was well done. Quiet Passages came through really well for a live recorded acoustic set in a retail shop. If you're a fan of Porcupine Tree, this one's really worth it to check out, and it just sounded fantastic. It's on Transmission Records, and I've had a lot of success with a lot of their pressings, so I wasn't surprised, but it just was sonically stunning.
How about you, Jen?
Oh, I will say, this is the one I was going to hesitate to buy, and I bought it, and I love it. It sounds fantastic, and it's great turned up to 11, and there's nothing I can say bad about it, except I wish it was longer and I had more. But since it might be predictable, there's so many. But I do love this one. It's the Westbound Sound. They do one every year. It's a compilation, so you get like Fuzzy Haskins and Funkadelic, and it's, if you like R&B and that funk era, you can't go wrong with these, and you find something new all the time. But it is so good, and as Tim pointed out earlier, it was the probably least expensive record I bought on RSD. So
That's a compilation of singles, right?
And yes, this particular one was singles and B-sides. So it was a little different. I think some of the others will pick top hits, but this was singles and B-sides. So yeah, it was awesome. The oh my gosh, I can't even. There's so many good. What was Houston Outlaws, The Mighty Elegant. I mean, the Funkadelic. I'm on a Fuzzy Haskins kick lately, so that's kind of where my brain's been settling.
There's a song called Houston Outlaws.
Yeah.
I might have to check out that. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah. They did a song called Sweet Thing. So, but just I don't know. I mean, I knew this was going to be good, but I don't know. This got me so excited to buy. It's like I'm ready for that record that we pre-ordered.
Yeah. Oh, the confessions too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait.
So I have to make a confession.
What?
Wow.
Did you get it too?
Yeah, I got it.
How good. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. See? It's so pretty.
Oh yeah. And I went to the wax was lovely. I went in not telling myself I shouldn't get it because I already have it on CD. But um the wife likes it. Yeah. So
When
That's a bonus right there.
I, I bought that Johnny Marr live last year, and every time I put that on, I get goosebumps. Like it sounds so good, and I'm so excited. And that's how I feel when I listen to that Madonna record. It's just, I just want to keep turning the volume up, turning the volume.
yeah, I gotta say the set list though, it was only like 90 minutes in total.
Yeah.
It felt like a pretty short show. It just
Tobias,
makes me
isn't
wonder
that
if there were bits that were cut.
Yeah, there's a lot of tracks cut. So the CD edition I have, there's a DVD with that one as well, and you get the full. I assume the full show, and it's directed by Jonas Åkerlund as well, the Swedish director who made Ray of Light video for her, amongst others. So yeah,
I need to revisit that. I haven't played the DVD in a very, very long time.
yeah, they could easily have done that as a quadruple vinyl to fit it all.
Yep. How about you, Tobias?
Well, I have two that are my favorites because I can't really choose between them. The first one is Faithless, to all new arrivals. Finally, a vinyl copy of this one. It was actually issued on vinyl at the time, but I think they sold it at the live shows at the time, so it was really hard to come by. But double vinyl, absolutely fantastic packaging on this one, and the sound is amazing on this one. It's a really good pressing of that one.
I am waiting for my copies.
Yeah, it is absolutely a fantastic record. And the other one, of course, The Art of Noise, Image of a Group, The Seduction of Claude Debussy. My favorite album by The Art of Noise, and I finally got it on vinyl, and another great presentation. Well, the presentation could be better because I could have made it into gatefold. I think I said so in my RSD video as well, because it's a very cinematic sound, so they should have done a gatefold with a really massive presentation with some pictures or artwork or whatever. But it's a really good pressing as well, and you do get the promo tracks as well that were released at the time on the D side of this one, because it's double vinyl. But yeah,
It's so good.
fantastic stuff.
That's another one I like at 11.
Yeah.
And I didn't bring my copy as a prop. So the story is on record store day, I bought it for Jen thinking that she didn't get it, but at the same time her husband ordered her a copy. So yeah. So I kept it and I played it, and it was
didn't
great.
realize until after I was like, oh man.
Yeah, no, it's all right. It's not a waste. I liked it.
I appreciate that so much, but I'm so glad that you loved it. See, it was like destiny that you should have it.
Yeah.
So I have to say, well, I want to go ahead. Everybody else first. I have many things I could say. I'm gonna shut up and wait.
Yeah, for me, the thing that I felt was the best out of the lot that I bought was the main thing that I went out to get. And this was the Air Mood Safari Athens concert. So this has not been released previously. They've had bits and pieces of it out via bootleg on YouTube. But I would say this is a fairly faithful rendition of the album Moon Safari, but I like it because there's a little more, I want to say the playing is more inspired than what it was on the album. And out of all the recordings that I picked up, because I think all of us got concert recordings of some sort, this for me was the best recorded out of all of them. So it just sounds fantastic. It is worth your time if you like Air. Now I know that Air is not for everyone, but yeah, definitely try and give it a sample if you can. I don't know if it's available now. I'm sure somebody might have ripped it and put it out on YouTube somewhere, but it's great.
That was what I was curious about because I like the actual like the album, but I hadn't heard anything live from them.
Yeah, no, they had a couple of concerts from that tour recorded, so they did the full Albert Hall performance that was recorded. That's out on YouTube. So if you want to get a feel for what you're getting, go to YouTube and check out the Royal Albert Hall performance.
Good. I was checking our feed. Was that your only surprise though? You did get some surprises. Well,
Okay, so I gotta ask my next question. Out of everything you bought, what was the most disappointing? And I'm glad we have Jasmine Michael. I wonder if you got this one.
We're gonna go in the same order.
Yeah, let's go in the same order.
So this was an after pickup, and this is the Yes. Was it Tales of Graphic Tours? I was on the fence about this one because if I'm honest, Tales of Topographic Oceans isn't my favorite Yes album. It's very bloated, I feel. Tends to noodle on a little bit. And I knew that I was going to feel that way going into this one. It still sounds good. I think some of the fidelity on this one as well is a little miss. It almost feels at times like a little bit of a bootleg. It's a triple album. It wasn't as expensive as some of the other triple albums on RSD. And I'm glad I have it because I'm really, really, really have an addiction for Yes. But I was more excited to have the last bit of it, which was And You and I and Close to the Edge live, than I was the other. So I knew this was kind of a splurge buy, but it was there. I saw it after RSD. Is it my favorite live recording of Yes? Yeah.
Yeah. So when you didn't pick that, pick that up the day of Tim, I was really surprised just knowing how big of a Yes fan you are. I was like, where's the Yes album? I would have picked you that. So yeah, I figured you'd get it, but all right, understand about that particular album.
Yeah, I actually had to, and I'm sure we'll discuss like some of the lengths we went through to pick up some of it. I had to order one of the things for pickup online at Park Ave. And then when I went there, I was, just, hey, do you still have this? And they're like, yep. All right. So it was kind of a splurge moment, and I'm not necessarily upset that I have it because I'm such a big fan, but I won't go to it as much as I do other live stuff from them.
How about you, Jen?
Well, I do. I guess I kind of I'm sort of disappointed in it. I really feel like I scored pretty good on most things, but and the Goblin was kind of a disappointment to me because part of what I loved about thinking this was coming out was that I really sort of thought it was going to be individual. Like, I guess it didn't register for me that it was one solid record. And part of the Goblin experience is all the super cool artwork that goes along with it. And I was sort of hoping that it was individual singles, like a small box set or something, like I would be a little grander than that, maybe. I mean, I think it sounds okay. I guess I was just expecting a little more. It just seemed kind of hyped up to me, or maybe I just mentally hyped it up. It kind of bummed me out. I was like, I went down, I'm like, and it's like, yeah, and they said that on the counter, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Not what my mind's eye envisioned. It's kind of like Tobias said about Art of Noise. Like, and I know it's about the music and listening to the music, but some of what makes Record Store Day fun is it should the unexpected things or the exclusive things or something that's a little different. So although I'm appreciative these are all on one record, I did kind of wish that as a Fox and kind of petty, I'm sure.
So I did not see that one, but I probably would have picked it up because I like Goblin too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get so many Goblin albums fighting, and maybe, I don't know, Tobias, if you find things over where you're at easier, but it seems like
Yeah.
finding 45s or singles from this particular band would be much easier over in Europe than it would be in the States. And I kind of thought a facsimile would have been kind of cool. So I don't know.
Yeah. I have to be honest, I never seen a Goblin 7-inch single out and
Yeah.
about. Now,
Well, there you go.
I think most of them were released mainly in Italy. So if you go to Italy, you will probably find a lot of them. But I have compilations with Goblin before. And what is that? The 1975 to 79? Or, yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we could probably expect for Black Friday the continuation, because in the beginning of the 80s, they were phenomenal when it comes to doing music, even more electronic.
Well, maybe that's
music.
true then. Maybe this is part 1 of 2.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, but that artwork is just so cool. I mean, to me, that
Yeah.
what sets them apart too. It's not just like a horror. I mean, they do so many other things. I mean, they're known for that horror component, but
Yeah.
petty, maybe be petty.
Yeah. But still good tracks.
With that,
Still good tracks.
yes, absolutely. Yeah. I wanted a little something, some.
Hey, Jen, your mic is a little garbled.
Me?
Yeah.
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 See?
Yeah.
Your girls have problems.
How about you, Tobias?
Well, I really don't have anything to complain about, but since you brought it up, I can bring one thing up, and that is from David Bowie's Hello, Space Boy. And it promised us unreleased Tim Simonon mix, and I love Tim Simonon as both a producer and an artist himself, as Bomb the Bass, of course. So I was really looking forward to that one. I knew the Pet Shop Boys mixes were good, right? But I was thoroughly disappointed with the Tim Simonon mix. There is a reason why it was never released before, so it's a nothing burger, really. But if there's anything to complain about, it should be that. And something that I noticed after the fact is the Human Leagues being boiled. I bought it because I don't own it myself. So I was like, that's great to have it on a 12-inch format as well. But it turns out, because I didn't pay notice to this in the original announcement about this one for Record Store Day, it was supposed to have Peel sessions on it as well. But now it's only the original single with an added remix to it, which doesn't sound much more different than the original to me. But well, I understand why a lot of people were disappointed in it, because if we had the Peel sessions on it as well, it would be even better, right? But it's a great single. So, minor complaints, but...
So for me, I do have to highlight a particular comment here from Jazz Bump Mike. Jazz Bump Mike, you were very, very smart. I did buy this, and it is so it's fascinating to hear the songs. So I like Giant Steps. This is basically 2 songs. You get one song on one side and you get one song on the other, but the recording is terrible. I mean, this is like a really, really bad bootleg. So it was nice to hear the performance, but I honestly think I'll be trading this in, because this is not. This is just subpar for me. It would have been nice if they just released this digitally and let people listen to it. And I mean, it's cool to hear the song, but the whole recording, it just is so muffled and distant, and yeah, it's just terrible. So there you go. So I am curious. You guys all waited in line, right?
Yeah.
Wait, you got to tell me that best story about waiting in line. Do you guys have a story?
Surely Tobias
Yeah.
does. He was up so early.
I honestly, I mean, I got there even a little earlier than I intended. I had planned on leaving my house probably around 2 in the morning. Takes me almost an hour to drive there. And I couldn't sleep. So I just said to hell with it, jumped in the car. And then the very last minute, Oliver decided he wanted to go with me, which was fine. I was like, dude, you're gonna be bored. He slept in the car most of it. But at least he got to experience it. What I think the biggest thing that I took away from waiting in line, and it may have been some of the artists that were featured, all the women who were there, and not just women with their husbands or whatever, but women in general just buying their own stuff. It was great to see, but I don't think we had like a bizarre moment or anything. It was pretty chill.
Okay. How about you, Tobias? Do you have anything?
Yeah, well, and I just have to really reiterate what Tim just said. There were more people than I ever experienced for Record Store Day in line this time around, and we could see that, I think, from all around the world, from what I've seen from different videos. And I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Of course, there's always people who are going to complain about that as well, but we can save that for a bit later. Yeah, I thought it was great. And like you said, Tim, there's so many women, young girls really turning up for this one. And I know there's Taylor Swift and Charlie XX releases, but I don't want to really generalize because there was some a bunch of youngsters ahead of me. Let's put it that way, yeah, teenagers. So when we stood there chatting, I was like, they're probably going to pick up, Charlie XCX or whatever. So we spoke to them just before the store was about to open. I said, what are you after this Record Store Day? Oh, I'm here for the Labby Sifri album. All of them agreed. I was like, Labby Sifri? Okay. So that was probably the biggest surprise for me. I mean, I thought for sure they were going to say the Wicked album, or like I said, the other 7-inch figures that were released as well. But no, Labby Sifre, and I think someone said yes as well, the one you picked up, so Tim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was pleasantly surprised because that goes to show that, there's a big interest in this, and it's starting to spread around the younger music listening community as well. So
I saw a lot of younger folks, girls getting Pink Floyd.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
I have to say something about that because the store I went to, unfortunately, I only got 2 or 3 copies of that one.
Yeah.
But I realized that it was actually released on CD the same day in general record stores as well. So
There's a reason I opted for the CD, and it wasn't just the cost.
no, it was a triple album, right, on Record Store Day.
Triple album, and I probably would have sprung for it, but there's certain songs that's like, if you bought a Queen album and We Will Rock You was the end of one side and We Are the Champions starts the other, that's almost sacrilegious. On the vinyl, they split Time and The Great Gig in the Sky when they do the Dark Side of the Moon set. And it's like that they lead into each other so well. Why would you do that? I get it, space, time, or whatever. But let's face it, at the end of the day, it was an audio recording that they did all the best they could to punch it up, and it sounds good, but I don't know if it's worth $80-$90.
No, I agree.
Yeah, and if you got the Wish You Were Here box set from last year, you got that full set on CD in advance. So yeah, for me, I it was like the Madonna. I'm like, do I want to double dip? But I said no. I'm not going to do that. But Jen, do you have a good story from waiting in line? Because you waited in line twice, right?
I did wait in line twice. It's, it's funny. I talked to a few people. I feel like people are chatty or they're not. They're either into it or they're just all like waiting for coffee and like, um, I think for me, I did talk to a few people behind me who were really into some of the it's like the Sakamoto releases. Like they are specific, very pinpointed. A young guy ahead of me wanted Bruno Mars, and it's all he wanted. He didn't want anything else. And we got up in the line. I was 28th in line. He got up there, asked for Bruno Mars. They had none, which really kind of surprised me because he was the ambassador for Record Store Day. I figured they'd at least have two. I think somebody might have picked up one, and so he was kind of crushed. um, I probably talked to Tim on my phone more. We were like, I think texting and
Yeah.
I was watching what Tobias was up to, and I kind of liked, for me this year, it seemed a lot of real time observing what's happening all over the place. There was so much buzz and people just kind of talking about different things. I didn't have anything too outrageous happen. My big takeaway was it was supposed to severely thunderstorm. Like we were ready to not be able to stand in line, like hail and whatever. And it passed us by. I don't even know how I got that lucky, but that was, and then we drove another hour north to stand in line again. So nothing I really wanted a good story. I don't have a ton of good stories from standing in line. Just, it was warmer than usual. I avoided the weather. And I was watching people buy things I didn't expect. I really enjoyed kind of just holding back and listening to what people were asking for. I kind of got a kick out of that. So
I have a funny story. Houston has a little bit of a foodie scene, and there are several restaurants downtown where people will wait in line, particularly barbecue, because barbecue is a big thing here. So they'll wait in line 2 hours to get a meal. So everybody is waiting in line, and they finally open up the store, and they're letting the store that I went to, they would only allow 6 people in at a time, and they were only letting people look at the Record Store Day records. So as I'm getting closer, this big Lexus drives up to the front, and this African-American woman gets out, and she looks around at the line, and she's like, must be something. Must be something. And then she kind of walks around. She's walking around outside her car, and then she looks at us all and she goes, "What kind of food do y'all got there? What kind of food do you eat?"
Must be something good.
I'm sure she was gravely disappointed to hear that was not the case.
Because
We're
the line was like 300 people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I really wish we'd had food trucks. Like in Indianapolis, they had food trucks, they had a live band, they had people selling plants. There was like all kinds of things going on. But the one I went to closer to me was just very, very, everything was quiet. Like you could hear crickets. Like it was,
Yeah. Yeah, no, so it's interesting because the main record store that I wanted to go to typically would have a band playing. They have a local pizzeria that brings in boxes of pizza for free, and they bring in a couple of kegs of beer for the first couple hours in the morning, and you just kind of enjoy yourself. But this year, because I if it wasn't for us doing this, I may not have gone, but I went to the store's website to see what time they were open, and they did a numbering system, but you had to get a number in advance from the store, and they started that 2 weeks prior to Record Store Day.
wow.
Yeah, so you had to get your number 2 weeks before, and they would call your phone and tell you your number's up. And Yeah, and 2 hours after they had opened, they hadn't even gotten to number 150 yet because I had a friend that was also going, and I'm like, "When are you even gonna get in?" And he's like, "I'm just skipping the store and I'm going elsewhere." So it didn't really pan out for him, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like lines were bigger than ever before. I don't know if anybody's watching us had an experience, but I mean, it's all, I think you even said so too, Tobias. People were saying that there was more lines, more interest, more kind of general ground buzz and excitement than I anticipated, you know? See, and I wonder if that's bigger markets. You mentioned that they had some of those records would come in signed. I did see out west some folks showing records they got and they happened to get signed copies. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that is cool. I think the main store that I wanted to go to had a few signed items too for Record Store Day. Like I think they even had one or two signed copies from Bruno Mars for his exclusive suit.
Yeah, I think in some of the aftermath of the, us getting home and kind of, putting our purchases down, maybe going to sleep for a while or just trying to wrap our thoughts around it. And then Saturday evening, Sunday morning, the social media, hey, this is what I experienced, whatever. I noticed that for Dope, John Densmore was in, I think, a record store in New York, and as people were buying it, he was signing it right there in the spot, which I thought was even really cool, idea. Just that if you're out and about for a couple of hours, you stop in and kind of have this wonderful experience. And then I can't remember who it was. There was a couple of artists that were going out to record stores and hiding like concert tickets in the racks of, these local shops. It was just, I do feel like the lines were longer. I also, I didn't talk about my thoughts on the list beforehand, but this was actually a pretty well-rounded, packed list that we've seen in quite a while, I thought. And maybe that contributed to the lines of people coming out.
Randall, is that Luna in Indianapolis? Because that's where I went. That was my second stop. If that's the same Luna, that's the one I went to.
Yeah, it seems like most people had a really positive experience of Record Store Day for sure. And I myself, and I know you agree as well, all of you, that it's so nice to see so many younger people turn up as well that have an interest in this, not just because a specific artist release anything. And yeah.
I heard of Luna in Tennessee also when I was in line. Someone said, if you don't find what you want today, get on Luna's website in Tennessee and they will have what you want. That's what I was told.
Yeah, no, I have to agree that there was a lot of people out, more so than I had seen in previous years, but a lot like Tim, you made the comment at the beginning. Yeah, there was a lot more younger people, and I felt like the senior citizens, yeah, which is good.
It's good. The store I go to, the owners of Major Deadhead, so there was still a lot of dead guys there. So I felt like I was in that group, but I definitely wasn't like the senior citizens.
Speaking of that Dope record, I didn't see that at all in my local record shop. It was one that I was really curious about.
So when we were gathering in our green room, if you, I don't know what the hell you would call it before we started, I was talking to Paul about it. This one, it's interesting because not knowing what I expected to going in, I just thought it was going to be, Densmore playing some drums, and then Chuck D was going to, social commentary rhymes, and that would be that. It actually felt more like them doing their version of An American Prayer, the Morrison poetry album. So yes, there was some hip hop elements to it, but there was also some poetry. And it was an interesting take to see, two gentlemen who've been in music for as long as they have and have toured the globe how many times over, experienced so much, really just speak on the state of the world, from their perspective. Um, and for two men who clearly have a lot more energy than their age would be indicative of. I thought it was an interesting listen. I don't think it's one I would go to on a random Tuesday. It's definitely something you got to be kind of in the mood for, because it is a pretty powerful social commentary. But it's interesting because it adds more that hip hop is more than just, beats and rhymes. That there can be a message and there can be an artistic endeavor to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So Rob Walker had an interesting comment, which made me think. I mean, I will say I went to 2 stores on Record Store Day, and the pricing was a little bit different. And I would say that I was really surprised because some of the prices were, I mean, for 2 LP sets, it there was no fixed price. I mean, some were higher, some were lower, but yeah, in general, it was like some of them, it was like just outrageous. And I agree with the comment about, some of it was, yeah, you get into a little bit of a waste of money. So, just another story. I picked up this one, Jade.
Yeah.
It was a R&B dance type album from the 90s. And so, it was funny when I first started DJing, I, I was absolutely terrible. and you know what's not good when like women start leaving the dance floor. And, I had a girl at where I was at. She walked up and she's like, what do you have? What do you have? And she's like, you're losing people. You're losing people. And so she grabbed this out of my stack of CDs and she's like, you're gonna play this. I'm like, okay. And sure enough, as soon as I started playing it, all the girls started coming back. And so this is the album that got me. Now, so this is the reason why I bought this album. But I could tell you that the quality of the pressing and even the cover itself was like, it's like a bad. I don't know how well this is going to come out, but I mean, it's like they took the CD jacket and they blew it up. It was just a terrible, terrible reproduction. So, in terms of Rob Walker's comment, yeah, this is I would consider, yeah, I bought it out of sentimentality, but a waste of money.
I think that is the biggest problem, in my opinion, at least with Record Store Day. We already had some comments around here around quality control. And because it seems like the record companies are just throwing out stuff without actually checking on either the content or the production itself. And I know all the plants are super busy leading up to Record Store Day, so there's a lot of things to go through. But if you're going to pay £80 or £90 for a double album somewhere, I don't know how much the Ecstasy album was, but it's probably in that ballpark from 70 to 100. And then you should get some value for your money, both when it comes to content and quality.
Well, and I would say like with Bad Brains, and they did the one at was that Black Friday too. I would not necessarily expect a lot from these. I mean, I don't know. It's just the nature of the music, but X2C to me is a very slick production. I don't think they did a lot of American shows. Is that right? Like they weren't always touring in America as much as they were in other parts of the world. So you kind of would expect something a little better because there's some listeners that would have never had the opportunity to see them live. But like the Bad Brains, I thought sounded great, but great is relative. Like, you know what I mean? I was thinking about what he was saying, and I think that you just do expect a little more.
They had to have been better than that.
Yeah, it must be.
This is awful. And this was $24 for 2 tracks.
Yeah.
Was it just 2 tracks?
Yes.
Yeah, that I saw it was 2 tracks and it scared me away instantly. But there was a comment about the STP, the one that came out on RSD.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, it didn't sound as good." And honestly, I didn't think it sounded horrible. I did pick it up. I'm an STP completist. I didn't think it sounded bad, but there was one they put out for the Purple tour, and I want to say was it Black Friday a year ago? I can't remember when it came out. That one did sound better than this one, but I didn't think this one was horrible. I actually thought the Yes didn't sound as good as this one. But I get it too, you know. I mean, this one was probably 40 plus for a 2 LP live set.
Yeah, that one was, I do agree. It wasn't the best recorded. I really enjoyed it because you couldn't get it elsewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, the mic placement, I mean, you could tell it was like it was an arena. So depending on the forum, it really affects the sound. So the Madonna, I mean, it was definitely in a dome. But yeah, the STP was kind of in a big, it wasn't in an arena, but a big forum, outdoor forum. And yeah, the mic placement wasn't the greatest. And man, Scott Weiland has a potty mouth. I mean, nasty level potty mouth.
Were any of those live ones like the XTC or Stone Temple Pilots part of that series that are slowly being released? The guy who snuck the tape recorder in claimed to need a wheelchair, but he didn't really have one, and then he snuck the recorder in and hid it underneath his chair and recorded like thousands of concerts.
Yeah, that's the Mike that Miller. Yeah, he did the Floyd,
Okay.
and I mean,
Okay.
relatively speaking, I would say so. The Mike Muller just is 10 times better than this one here.
Well, is that Coltrane similar? Okay, it was a couple times back. They did. Was it a Nat King Cole or like live, and you could hear people pouring drinks and like it was a very had an ambiance to it. You
Yeah.
really got the sense that people were just walking around and it just happened to get recorded.
Yep. Yeah. No, it was. It sounded like the guy was at the very, very back of the club and maybe had like a coat over his microphone. Yeah. How bad it is.
So you mean he recorded it by accident? That's what I do.
Well,
The
the
phone is in
story
my
is
pocket. I record.
really he was really big into documenting the performances. He got the performance, and I mean, again, it was interesting to hear once, but it's not something that I will play again just because of how terrible it sounded.
Yeah, and it's too bad it was $20.
Yeah. This. So I'm curious, what is the most you guys paid for a single set or record? I mean, for me, I got the Junkie XL, and it's not bad, but this was $63 for 2 LPs.
Oh.
Yeah. And Tobias, when I watched your video going through it, and I was seeing some of the prices that you guys are paying, I mean, that probably would have been 80 pounds for
Probably.
2 LPs. It's insane.
I was lucky because both the Faithless double album and Art of Noise double album, I paid 40 quid for, which I think is reasonable for a double album.
Yeah.
But I saw your comment as well, and I think you pointed out the 7 inches, which I found absolutely ridiculous. I think
Yes.
you have a span between 15 pounds and 20 or 25. It's 2 tracks. It's a 7-inch single.
Right.
And people are buying them, of course. But then, of course, there were En Vogue had an RSD release as well, which I was mildly interested in. If I could pick it up for 30 quid or something like that. But I think that one was priced around 65 or 70. So it was absolutely
Yeah, it was.
right.
I saw prices here. It was like 70, 75, and I was like, that's not gonna happen.
No, I'll pick it up on a used CD instead. I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
And yeah, the Taylor Swift.
album, but it was.
yeah, there you go. Richard, $23 for a Taylor Swift 7-inch. Wow.
Yeah, that should be gold.
Yeah.
Well, look
You
at
know.
the glitter, and it was glitter filled, which scares me even more because if that glitters to the top, there goes your stylus.
Yeah.
And I think, Rob just made another point about cost and being able to return them. And it kind of gets me thinking, there's a few folks mentioning different prices between record shops too, that can see it for one thing at one place and something somewhere else. And naive me, I kind of was under the assumption that there was a set, rate, like, for record store day. Like retailers had to charge, if it's $29.95 for Bad Brains, then it's that price everywhere, like that kind of a thing. Like,
Yeah.
but maybe not.
They have a maximum amount that they can charge, right? And a minimum amount. Can't speak. But yeah, I think they have a span which they can price whatever release that comes out on, honestly. But I have to agree here with Rob as well, because he said it was 40 quid with the shipping as well. But that's the thing, because if you're a fan of XTC and you see, oh, there's a new XTC live album out for RSD, I'm going to get it. Because there's no way for you to actually listen to this one beforehand, right? They should have at least, and this is not for RSD, it's for record companies, some sound bits, sound bites.
Yeah, some samples.
Yeah, samples. So I expect those at least.
So the Ecstasy, I think that's the one with the boots, and I think they were hyping it up because it was like 200-gram vinyl on a really nice boutique pressing. But if it sounds like it's coming from somebody's pocket, then
yeah.
I mean, I don't care how well you dress. Hey, you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig.
Yeah, exactly. The cover looks better than it sounded. So
Yeah.
It's no, I think that's a shame, because if there are downsides, of course, with the whole RSD setup, but I think overall it's good for our local record shops because they are making a lot of money from this. But I do agree with that sentiment, because if you're a big fan, you're going to pick it up anyhow, and you have no clue what it's going to sound like. So, but at least give us a fair chance. So,
And hadn't we said before, Tobias, like a few record stores back, like you could see at least a price, right? So
yeah.
Even aside from listening to some of these things, you kind of had a budgetary idea of what you wanted to spend. And now I feel like you're going into it blind. I mean, I could imagine my mom as a teenager, my mom giving me $30 and saying, knock yourself out. And then I'd buy one Taylor Swift 45.
Yeah.
God, I can't even buy nachos at the end of the day. So why maybe I'd be more forgiving about sound, maybe. If I at least knew what I was getting into, like when you start, like how much I'm going to want to spend. Like it's not a gotcha moment.
Yeah.
You have some, because they can do that. I don't know why they stopped doing that, but
That's true. And I have to agree with the comment here. If they put a sound bites out, no one would buy them. That would probably be a good thing, because we had a bit of a cleansing then.
Yeah, well, that's definitely the case with the Coltrane. I know if people had heard it, I think everyone would have avoided it.
Yeah. For sure.
Or they would have been forced to charge a little less, maybe.
But even to that point, I'm like, how much of this is licensing? We're just talking about the En Vogue 3, which is when it was not only their third album, but they went down from a quartet to a trio. I think it was at that point Don Lewis had left the group.
Yeah.
And now for a record that, I'm going to be honest, didn't spawn nearly the number of hits that the first two did. It definitely, in my opinion, is the weakest of the first three albums. And you want to charge $75 for it. Now, this was my most expensive one. It was the Coltrane 4 LP, the live in France. This one cost me 65, which realistically isn't that bad. But then you get it home and then you start looking at it, and I'll just pull out one of the records here. And the first night is over 3 sides, and it's like you see so much empty dead wax right there on each side. You probably could have made this a 3 LP, or if you were going to spread it out that much, you could have spread out the grooves or put it at 45 RPM. Is that a kind of a nitpick? Or, maybe. But at the end of the day, if you're spending 60, 65, 70, you're still jumping into a faithful, hey, I'm giving you this money to say, I really do hope you're going to give me a quality product. This one wasn't bad, but everything I read on the XTC was just horrible.
Yeah.
And to charge that much, it's almost a slap in the face. So, they say, well, RSD is so much more. Well, yeah, but if that was your one experience, you didn't have a good RSD.
No, that's true.
So I think this was my most expensive one. And I think that
Yep.
was 70 or 80 bucks, right? That's true.
Yeah, that's the one I grabbed for you. Yep.
Yes. And it sounds like what I expected it to sound. I was willing to buy it because I'd been to the concert. This is a very nostalgic record for me. And I know you can pick it up on the box set on CD. So there's other ways to get it, but I really did enjoy this an awful lot, and I'm super stoked. And so I was happy with that. But I will say it's not like I'm sure the CD sounds better. I'm going to have to say, I think there's elements to this quality wise that were probably not as good as I would like them to be. But then thinking about cost, this is my least expensive record. And I think these were $15 to $19. And it is put out by RSD, and they put this all together. But what's interesting is the ones they do every year are sponsored by Tito's. And so they put the vodka ad on the inside, which I am sure cuts the cost of the record. So I don't care. Like the record sounds good. I was super happy to have it. I think it's great. And if they had Tito's sponsor Power Station and it took $30 off my total, I don't care. I mean, it's totally fine with that.
I find it funny that Tito's is sponsoring a record. We had that the Doghouse beer sponsoring a record store. Maybe they're telling us, hey, by the time you get home, you're going to realize you're going to need a drink.
Yeah.
And last year's Westbound was also a Tito's sponsor. So
Nice.
But for Record Store Day, these kinds of things don't bother me. I've always said I would rather it be kind of a kitschy, odd, here's a couple of weird records. Here's something that you remember, like when you would go and like buy a refrigerator, probably in the 50s, and they gave you a record. I don't know, like here's your Christmas album for buying a car, like that kind of stuff. Like I don't care. Like that's kind of all right with me. If the music sounds good and it keeps costs down, I mean, it's kind of a big ad for Westbound.
Yeah. Oh, I like it though, because it is very unique to Record Store Day.
Yeah.
And it's like the jazz dispensary titles that get released. So I have several of those. I didn't pick this year's. But I like having this event driven record that is unique to Record Store Day. So the dope was kind of like that too. Yeah. Yep.
And that's what I used to always kind of feel Record Store Day would be. Like companies maybe would do compilations. There'd be truly something unique out that day, but really it just gets people in the door, and then stores could use it as they wanted to put sales on records, or maybe if you're the first 100 people to buy an album, you get one of those Dogfish beer posters or gift bag or whatever. Like I, I like those kinds of things. I'm a sucker for that stuff. And I don't think, this didn't have anything else ad-wise in it either.
Yeah.
And that's 8 songs on there. Is that the Brazil? But yeah, I like all the jazz dispensaries and the westbound sounds.
Yep.
So if anybody's listening and you want to sponsor records next year, I think you should do it.
But you know what? Here's the thing, and the only thing I guess I'll say criticism wise on that westbound would be if you're gonna do something like that, right? And you're gonna make something affordable and you're gonna have a sponsorship, why not make it to where every record store that wants 10, 15, 20 copies gets it? Because as you're flipping through, like, and we can talk about maybe, our different experiences once we got in the door. Mine was they let in so many at a time. You got to look A to Z. If there was something specific that you wanted, he would put it in your hands to help you find it or whatever. But if a record store is doing that and they're saying, hey, this is only a $15 record, if you like soul, funk, or whatever, you're probably gonna hear only 15. I like the genres. What the hell? And to me, that's what it should be. I know you're going to have flippers and stuff like that, but if you have stuff that appeals to the masses that can take a punt on something that's not going to be so expensive, why not?
Yeah.
And what's a big collectible? I hear a lot of buzz on channels about K-Tel Records.
Yeah.
The king of the comp. If they were onto something.
So, do you have another question there, Paul? Or Tobias, you had something. You had some thoughts. So you had to bring. I had because when it comes to criticism of RSD, like I said, we could pick several different things when how it's set up or how it could be. But after RSD, I usually watch a lot of videos and I read the comments on most of those videos, and I did the same this year. So I compiled some comments from different videos. I'm not going to name and shame anyone. I'm just going to pick them up because they are really absurd. And there's a lot of YouTubers out there, and even on Instagram or wherever you look, that have a really good reasoning about why they don't really like Record Store Day. And I don't have a problem with that at all, because we could love it or hate it, but at least give us a reasonable fact around this. So I'm just going to read 3 quotes here. And like I said, I'm not going to name and shame anyone. The first quote was, "It undercuts anyone who wants to show up when the store opens." The lines in the cues to any RSD this is in relation to. And the other one, which is funny because this was all they said, it's becoming commercialized and it's a cash grab. And any sale of a record ever since it started way back in the day, it is commercialized. It is a cash grab because they want our money. It's a business, right? And RSD is no different. But to say things like, well, all these big lines, it's ridiculous. It undercuts anyone who wants to show up when the store opens. Has that ever been the case for Record Store Day? There have always been lines, right? It's first come, first serve, right? So it's all of these ridiculous things. And I collected them all here in my red book. So I have some.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's thinking back to the lines, right? I've worked in retail in prior lifetimes. I grew up in the 70s and 80s when the craze of like the Cabbage Patch Dolls and the Tickle Me Elmos and the Nintendo Wii or whatever game console it was at the time. And you would see women or people just go ballistic
Yeah.
over some of these things.
Or Stanley Cups more recently.
Yeah, right. But you're not wrong, because they had those wicked Stanley Cups at a bunch of different places. And it's like, or like the stuff that people go through for the Beanie Babies. I mean, just pick anything. The one thing I will say is I don't think I've ever seen anyone say, "Hey, do you have this release?" No, and then someone swings on the chop. I mean, not saying it doesn't happen, and maybe it has, and I've never seen it, but I don't see a lot of people getting brawl out violent on record store day.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I mean, I think it's a good. We already touched upon this before, and I think more people for Record Store Day is just good for local businesses, right? So we shouldn't really complain about it. If you don't like it, why do you spend so much energy commenting on it, really, if you don't have a solid argument against it? Because like I said, I would buy that as well. I mean, there's plenty of arguments for against Record Store Day as well. But the most absurd one I saw from so many places, so this is not for just one video or one comment, too many people. They should have a separate day for all the pop fans / Swift fans. They just taken up too much room. That's form of gatekeeping. It's like, I remember when it was just me and 3 other blokes in the line, and we had such a great time, and now all these Swifties come here and grab our records. Well, they don't, because they're after the Swiftie records. You are not there for the Swiftie records. You're going to pick up the Yes album, the Pink Floyd album, whatever. They're not there to compete with you. I find it so ridiculous.
Yeah. I've often felt that Record Store Day, if you're a business owner, I think it is a win or a lose for a business owner and a customer. When it is properly managed, it's a win. When it's not, it's a lose. And I think there are ways that, and one thing I've managed and done retail for over 35 years. We have our own business. Like, these things should be a gift to be able to use. You can use it to the best of your ability. And having seen multiple stores and be present in those stores, you can see the difference between a record store that will say, here's the line for RSD. And guess what? We're open at 10. And if you aren't shopping RSD, there are other, they let other people in, or it depends on line management. But I've seen that work where they are conscientious about their regular customers who aren't RSD customers, or how they pre-order records, or what they look for people to be in line for, so you don't feel like you're just wasting your time. And the record store owner has product they can sell. I think it's a win for business when you do it right. The store I went to in Indianapolis, like I said, they did it up. I mean, they even had like rental restrooms for people to use. They expected the line was long all day. Like, it's such a little thing, but it just makes everything go easier. And it's when a record store embraces it and doesn't treat it like a burden. I don't ever understand that either. I think customers will take your cues from you. And if you are an owner and you act like it's a burden to do it, they're going to act like it's a burden to be there. It's a weird dynamic, but it happens. But all your observations, Tobias, they make us laugh, but it's kind of sad. Like,
it is sad, yeah. Because I understand I don't like gatekeeping at all. I've been there myself when I was younger, because I remember listening to a lot of these bands from the UK, like, Nitzareb, and we also listened to, from Belgium, Front 242, and all of a sudden that became a bit of a fad in Sweden, and there's people like talking about it. And I remember being really annoyed, because they were like, yeah, well, you don't really know what they're about. I had the first tape before they ever recorded anything on a record company, for a record company or anything like that. But I let that go when I became older. But I mean, grown up women and men complaining about this. Oh, it used to be our thing, and now it's all these Swifties and all that. They can have their own day. Why should they have their own day? It's not a competition.
No.
Well, if I can, my thought on, just seeing what we see on Black Friday and other places is that with music, I think one of the differences is that everybody in line, for the most part, is after a different thing.
Yeah.
And so like everything that we all have shown today, I mean, we all have different tastes, even amongst the four of us and everyone in the comments section. So everybody going after a different thing. I think if it was everyone looking for the same thing and it was like a main primary item, you might see a little more violence. Everybody was after that one thing.
Well, that may be true. If everybody was after his MC 900-foot Jesus, I might have been a little worried.
Yeah. But I saw one of the comments saying, have there ever been a riot like, for the old Black Fridays? Because these Black Friday is just gone now. But I don't think so. I never heard of any riots or people fighting for the records, thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's really, really good for the shops. I mean, out of the four, you guys buy anything that was a non-record store back day? I know I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I up my local shop.
Heck yeah.
I will not go into an RSD and not leave some of that cash that I brought with me for something that's non-RSD related. I feel like, there's going to be stuff you're rarely going to see, or there's going to be sales. And we know that the RSD is just to get you in the door. I'm going to buy from their shelves at something to support the business.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The best part, I mean, I just shopped a little extra. We stood in line and the one store had us weaving through the aisles. You literally touched every record in the store. And we would take turns getting out of line and looking at it. So I had a nice little stack before I ever got to the counter to ask for what I wanted. And that was fun to me. I was almost as excited because the Indianapolis store said we are dropping 1,000 new vintage vinyl records. They gave a sneak peek of what they had coming out. And some of that stuff was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like, oh my God, like, I don't know what I'm more excited for.
They did the same for the record store that I went to as well.
Yeah.
And I was laughing here as well because Rob left a comment. Great seeing Tim. He supported my channel in the 1980s. That's great.
Yeah, I was a fan before YouTube.
Oh, yeah. I remember back then. What do you people know? It was, the 1980s.
I had my flock of seagulls, rooster, whatever that was.
I think Rob's why we do have 52 RSD days a year.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Well, and
a week.
Maybe. You had said something about the commercialism. And I think, all of us were record collectors, but obviously, Jen, you're obviously very passionate about comic books. And then, some of the monster horror genres. I think we're all passionate about other things. And then, like movies, if you go to the movies nowadays, especially if it's a premiere or if it's a re-release, all these different companies will try to entice you by, hey, we have this limited edition bucket or this really cool cup or whatever. Movies generally come out on Fridays. You could buy these buckets almost a week in advance before the movie.
Yeah.
So what's the point? It's not about the movie. It's about the merchandising that you have a week beforehand. You show up to the premiere. Hey, can I get that special cool alien ripping off the body of the thing no, we're sold out. It's the first showing. How are you sold out?
Yeah, it takes a little bit of the air out of the room, doesn't it?
It does. And,
like Christmas in July.
Yeah. And I get it that some of these people, hey, everyone's experience is their own, right? It's your own personal view. And if you went that afternoon, the next day you got everything you wanted, I'm happy for you. That means you found stuff and you played the game and you won because you got what you wanted. Some of those things that are like 1,000 pieces, 500 pieces, we've all been there to say, you know what, that's going to end up getting scalped at some point. I'm not doing it. So
Pardon me. Yeah, that is kind of, and I guess because I had a good, I think I had a good RSD experience overall, but I will say this, and you can't, it's just kind of a hard one to talk about because I understand it, but it irritates me. And that's when I'm standing in line and I'm literally watching people in front of me buying like one of everything. Now, I bought a lot of records. I have I know, not to, just, I mean, people can have diverse tastes. I bought a lot of RSD titles. Um, However, I'm keeping them. I didn't buy them to resell them. I'm not trying to take a $23 Taylor Swift record and sell it for 40. And, I think it's great to put these things in the hands of the fans. And if I choose to spend $70 on a Power Station record, then I've made that choice. I mean, we can discuss that element, but scalping is another whole problem. And I hate that. I really do hate that. It's a shame that everybody in that rush to make a buck, they feel like they have to undercut everything else. And that's just a real shame because it doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be that way. And I think there are resources out there if people are looking for records and not on eBay. I've suggested to quite a few people to check out the RSD marketplace because they put RSD stores on there selling their inventory. And typically, in my experience, it's been whatever it would have been the day that I bought it in their store for record store day. So there are other ways to get music. It's just sad. I hate to see that.
Yeah, I agree. That was the biggest thing, of course, on my list here as well, scalping, because that comes up and I do hate it. But really, there's no way we can remedy this because you could ask people in line, you're not going to resell your records, are you? No, sir, no, I'm not going. That's all how it works.
Yeah, somebody made a comment about ordering things online, and I did that. And so I did do the RSD market. I think I did that for the Stone Temple Pilots one because the two shops that I went to did not have that particular one, but in a UK Europe release, we didn't have it here. I had to order it, so I went to France, found a seller in France, and I think I paid 63 euros for it. And Tobias, I don't know if that is comparable to what you paid for it in quid.
I don't know what the euro is in. I can check that really quickly. Yeah. Let's switch to euros. 65 euros, you said.
Yeah,
that's £56 with today's.
Is that equivalent to what you paid for
the Faithless?
Yeah,
I paid 40. So
okay,
yeah,
so
it's £15
scalper fee in France.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think £15. No, but I don't think £15 is a scalper fee. Really, they would have gone even higher than that. So it's also because but that's just my opinion.
Is that with shipping?
No, it wasn't.
No. So because
if
when you bought it,
it's like €1, I would have passed.
Yeah, because if you think about it, if they bought it for 40 or 45, depends on where they bought it. They just want a bit more money than they paid for it just to make something out of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think £15 that doesn't sound like a scalper price. They would have charged you £100 probably for the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
But the thing with scalping as well, I mean, that exists everywhere. We mentioned before, you mentioned from back in the 80s and the 90s, Tim, as well, with all these different fads. We had that recently and it's still ongoing. And God knows what the new thing is today. But we had Stanley Cups, Labubu's, or whatever. There is a secondhand market for that as well, I assume. So scalpers everywhere. Pokemon cards is a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so there's no way we can control it, really. So, yeah.
The thing about comic books is it's funny. I'm always comparing comics and records, like the hobby. Comics come out weekly. They're easily $4.99 a piece now.
Yeah.
And everybody's speculating, what character's it's really more about people, I think, buying up things, and then you have to hold on to them and hope that that character is going to get a TV show or a movie or become important. Um, you know, yeah, I don't see as much flip on eBay for comics like I do quite for records, and maybe it's the amount that are made. I mean, that could be some of it, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah, well, some of it too, you're getting variants. And people
That's
you're going to buy like 25 issues to get the one variant.
Well, there's the variants with comics. That's a good point. That's your big flip there. You have to order so many as a comic store to get it's like 1 in 100, 1 in 50, 1 in 25. Those are being, I think, ordered and then taken by a person very specific. You're not always the lucky one to get those. And then they're flipping them. I mean, every now and then you'll get a good one, but those variant covers, and they're killing the market. They're killing everything else.
Yeah.
So I suppose records have a little bit of that with, I could see the record store day is the variant market, right? So we get Confessions on the Dance Floor, and it's, marbled vinyl and pink, and the one that comes out later will be regular.
But to that point too, I think it's nice that we now have the RSD first, the RSD exclusive, and then the regional limited focus. Regional limited focus, they're telling you this could be a problem. They're telling you right off the bat this could be a problem. Because if it's outside of the region of focus, maybe you're only going to get 1 or 2. But if it's an RSD first, you can now make that decision of if it's going to be a variant and I'm willing to pay for it, or between A and B, and you only got money for one, is it the variant or is it the one that's only exclusive? So I love that they do that.
Do you guys watch eBay when you're standing in line?
Well,
no, but I did watch Discogs from when some things came out in the UK.
So we used to start watching because I wanted to see what people were getting in the UK first. I mean, you can kind of see Australia, and then it kind of would trickle down, right? And then just the things that were just popping up like crazy. But what really got me was looking at something completely different on eBay. This has been a while back, and discovering that people you're getting a pre-order. How do you get a pre-order for a record store day record? That doesn't happen. If I could do that, then I would pre-order it from my record store. So how are these folks they're already planning on being in line at 12 a.m. to scalp that record, whatever it is, that one Bruno Mars record in the whole store, and immediately post it on eBay.
There was someone who had multiple copies of the Floyd album that they were saying that they were going to sell. And it's like, how?
Is it a network of people, you think? Because it could be several people having this.
All I can think of is either there are people who are owning stores doing things they shouldn't be doing. So, right, when you get like 20 copies of something, you're not putting all 20 out for your consumer. You're holding 10 back under a different name and a different whatever. Or I would like to know what the theft rate is of records. But they're pre-ordering those records. So maybe it's internal, like from the printing plant themselves or whatever, but it's all over. So I just feel it's like people that must know something or have an intent to scalp or an intent to, but yes, I could be in line at one store, Tobias, you could be at another, your grandma could be at another, and you all go for the exact same things, just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
It's
and I
kind
think
of fascinating to watch, but it's sad.
it is.
You
But
know?
I think Rob just said here, is buying records a hobby? And I do agree with him. For me, it's not. I buy music because I want to listen to the music. I have my collection of music because I'm listening to it. But it's an interesting question.
Yeah, I agree. I am not a streamer, and physical media is how I listen to music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first and foremost.
Yeah.
Good.
And I was just gonna say, and to Rob's point, that's what makes, I think, a lot of us get mad about scalping and different things, because it is fun and it is like that joy. It's the thing that we do every day that we really enjoy, and people just have to taint it,
Exactly.
you know, and it shouldn't be. And if we always talk about young people positively coming in and buying vinyl, which is good, because the more people that buy it, other than just our generation, the longer it's going to be around and the more new things we're going to have. I mean, you have to keep injecting things, whether you call it a hobby or not, with new blood to keep that economy going and that supply and demand. So, you know, I just don't want people to ruin it. I'd like to keep it affordable. And I don't think folks realize when they participate in those kinds of things, they're helping to keep the price too high.
Yeah, so a couple of people made a comment about regional. I've always wondered what makes up a region, because I find these regional titles in my stores too. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what's a region?
The only thing I can think of is that, and while Record Store Day obviously is controlled by this one governing body entity, I feel like there's got to be multiple partnerships with different distribution centers. So maybe it's only coming from one distribution center. So I've never really looked into it. Half the time when I see something regional, I kind of go, well, I guess I'm ordering that online. And then if it's in my shop, I go, woohoo! And then that's all I want.
I know.
It's a middle, and I know
a region,
Yeah.
the United States.
Well,
Right?
that's why you see so many different things on the UK site, on the UK list, and there was some really good ones that were UK or European exclusive, and I'm like, God, I wish I could get that.
But usually, when it comes to exclusive for the European markets, for example, that must have something to do with licensing, right? Because they would love to sell even more records as a record company, I assume. So it must have.
Yeah, I think someone is also doing an assessment. So, like Faithless, for example, I mean, they maybe had one semi hit here with Insomnia, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I got exposed from living in Europe, but I think most people in the United States really don't know who they are. So somebody made the calculation, well, it's not going to sell. But I think there are some regional things like the beat, and so the beat over here will have to be sold as the London beat because there's a beat fan here already.
Or Suede.
Yep, Suede, the London Suede. Yep.
But also, like, the one that I really wanted from the UK was the Poor Righteous Teachers, and here you are. It's New York hip hop, but I think that had to come down to licensing for different markets. They probably could not license that, or there was a stronger licensing attached in the US. Now, that's not to diminish the following in the UK of Poor Righteous Teachers. UK have always long supported very conscious, very social commentary based hip hop. But I would have thought that would have sold really well in the US as well. We didn't get it.
I had to buy a Cramps record, but it was a UK RSD release. They didn't release any Cramps in the US, but the Cramps always have a much better fan base in Europe. So that was one I had to special order a couple years ago because I wouldn't have had it otherwise.
That's a good comment. The fit to serve a purpose for those who have no stores.
Yeah,
There's a comment from Lavelle, he had commented that he wanted the exhibit speed of light. I thought that came out in the US because I thought I remember seeing one in my shop.
Yeah, no, I looked and there were a few hip hop titles that were UK only that
Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't make sense. So yeah, I agree. It some of it is a little bizarre in the logic because hip hop generally sells pretty well here.
Yeah, but everything isn't straightforward. I think you're right, Tim, when it comes to certain of these hip hop records. It's a good example where licensing plays a role.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, it has to, right? Because you would think that if the country of origin can't get it, but it's going to other countries, it's got to be a licensing thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He was saying Restless was US. Okay, never mind. You're right. Tells you how much I was paying attention to some of that stuff.
There's a lot more for you to die.
It really was a great list, and there was so much. I mean, I could have easily spent 3 times more, but I'm glad I didn't, but I guess that's a good problem to have on a record store list. Sometimes we've seen it where it's like there's one thing I want, or two, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else here.
Yeah.
And I hope that means that future diversity is going to be there. Hopefully the people making these decisions are hearing all this feedback and saying, look, if you want us to pay high quality or these premium prices, I'd better not get surprised with a horrible sounding record when I get home.
Yeah. I have a question for you all, and it relates very much to Record Store Day because a lot of people suffer from this. It's FOMO. Have you, on top of your head, ever picked up a title where you played it once and it's just been sitting there in your collection, Record Store Day related? And that is a leading question, a very rhetorical question.
Yep.
Yep. Yes, I have.
On top of your head, Paul, which one? Just
well, jeez. Let me grab an example here.
Yeah.
Well, so I will say I am a big so this is one of the ones I picked up is the Best of the Gotan project. And I have a number of their CDs, and honestly, I enjoyed playing this. I will say that I do not know when I will return to this greatest hits edition. So this is probably that the Coltrane. The Coltrane I know I'm never gonna but honestly, yeah, I might pull this out every once in a while, but I can tell you there's been a lot of record store days in the past where I have had that FOMO. I have FOMO even on non-record store day items.
Yeah.
The audiophile world will get you. And I mean, with the audiophile world, they'll say, oh, there's only 2,000 pressings of this. And I'm like, what? It's just the best sounding ever. And honestly, I will tell everyone out there that it's probably in the margins. And sometimes you would spend $300, $400 more, and it doesn't sound any better than the day it came out.
Right.
You're saying that so people won't buy them and you get them first.
Yeah. So having bought a lot of audiophile pressings, I will tell you, I'm pretty stupid.
No, that's a buzz. I mean, that's a buzz category, right?
It is, but I could tell you that, the differences are sometimes very much in the margins. I mean, I do like some mastering engineering better than others. And I mean, just so we're on the topic, where is it?
I mean, maybe that's one small thing I'm glad I'm not addicted to.
One of the draft releases that I did pick up was the Abbey Lincoln.
Okay.
And this is just fantastic. I will tell you that probably 2 months down the line. So this is mono. 2 months down the line, they're going to drop the stereo. Done by Kevin Gray. I like Abby Lincoln. It just sounds fantastic. The reason why I picked this one up because it was recorded in 1957, I think. And in 1957, they didn't really have a firm handle on stereo. So you had hard panning, like they'll have the horns in the left speaker and everything else in the right. And when you have a drummer, that just sounds awful when you get drums only in one speaker. So that's why I go for the monos of this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say for me, and I have a picture of it on the phone, so I don't know if it'll translate well. Prince's Truth, or what he was known as the artist. You know, I bought it. It was Prince, and I played it once.
Which one was it, you said?
The Truth.
The Truth. Okay.
Yeah. It was like a lot of acoustic and stuff like that. It was interesting. I find like with any of the sets that I buy that are alternate takes, demos, you know, false starts, whatever, they're interesting, but I don't go to them as much because it's not the same version I've heard,
No.
you know, a million times. So if I'm expecting to hear something familiar, it's not it. And I will say too, that FOMO is going to get me in the future. And it's not an RSD title. They've announced, I think it comes out in June. Yeah, June 12th. There is a Pink Floyd set coming out that's going to have the exclusive full version of Pigs on the Wings that was only on the 8-track added to that. And I'm like, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the same case, Tim.
I'm just like, damn it.
I want the exclusive 8-track version on an actual 8-track.
That's going to
I
come.
don't have an 8-track player, and I don't know if I want to buy it for one thing, and then I would just get down this rabbit hole. Well, now that I have an 8-track player, damn it, I guess I'm gonna buy some 8-tracks.
Yeah, and I gotta pull this comment up because Rob made a very good point. And I mean, I will tell you, compared to everything that I have, I mean, the record store day items are not played like I have everything else. I mean, I am going everything else mainstream. I mean, I think record store day is really for the ultimate fandom, so to speak. So I really, really like that band, and I want to hear that concert. But
Yeah.
in truth, I mean, most people are not. They'll go to the studio albums versus the live concert.
Yeah.
But so I'm with Rob here.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And I find that I play the reissues more than the live stuff.
Yeah. I agree with that. Me too. Jen, do you have any FOMO buys?
Oh, I'm sure I have I think I got that Duran Duran Budokan record store day release in 2018. I really didn't listen to that one very much. It was a total, I'm a Duran Duran fan, I better buy it moment. There's been a couple of records I bought not thinking that they would get re-released later.
Yeah.
I think there was an Alison Moyer. Was that last year?
Last year, yeah.
Right, but it was going to get released anyway. There was no reason for me to have rushed out and bought that record when I did. It wasn't, you know, I could have probably got a less expensive version. So yeah, there's always something. But usually it's because I think, oh my God, it's like, I'm not going to say it any other time. And then I read my friend, like, it will be re-released 3 months later from now.
Yeah.
Dang it. I mean, even that OMD I purchased, I ended up buying. And that was because the first record store I went to, I was so mad they didn't have much of what I wanted, but they had that. I was like,
They had that one, yeah.
yeah, I'm going to buy it then. It's going to get reissued. So, but I really do think that Duran Duran one always sticks out in my head. That's one of those, like, I bought it because it was Duran Duran. I bought it because I thought I needed it. And shit.
Well, it was like the one year where the Crow soundtrack came out. They advertised that as an exclusive.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn sure I got that because it's a great soundtrack. And then it was a year later. Oh, we were just kidding. It's on, but it's not on black and white vinyl. It's just on black vinyl.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell was that?
No, so Record Store Day is a test. It is a test market, and if they sell something out, those companies know they're going to make more money. So yeah, that the Crow one was one Record Store Day. That was the number one thing on my list. I went out for it. I didn't get it. Totally missed out on it, and was happy that they reissued it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did.
Not weird.
Not the music, so I'm glad they reissued.
Yeah.
But you'll say exclusive, and to me, that just means color. It's an exclusive color, or it's an exclusive gatefold, or it has an exclusive sticker. Like it.
Well, it's like the Madonna one. The Madonna, I guarantee you, a couple of years down the line, they're going to reissue it. And it'll be like on a standard black or some other funky color.
Absolutely. And I don't think you need to wait years, actually. I think it's going to coincide along with the Confessions just before July, in the end of June, because she's been reissuing so many of her albums now. So we'll see that one in a different colored vinyl or just a black vinyl or something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I do want to say something in converse that, so the second thing that I was predominantly after is this one by Robert Plant.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge Zeppelin fan, and yeah, I really got to go after whatever he does. Now, I will say with the Record Store Day, I was a little bit, it may not be the best thing, and I don't know how often I'll play it. I was really surprised listening to this because these 4 tracks could have stood on their own, and I'm surprised he probably recorded them at the same time he did his last album because it's the same band.
Yeah.
But these 4 are 4 songs that I personally will return to. I mean, they're all 4 covers, but this one was a real surprise, and I'm happy I was able to pick it up.
That's good. Yep. That's
Do you
good.
think recording artists get FOMO? It's just
Well,
like, oh my God, we have to put something out.
I wonder if this is going to become a trend because, I mean, if this thing sold out, the record company's probably thinking, hey, I'm just going to entice my artist to record extra tracks. And for Record Store Day, we'll do some exclusive release.
Maybe.
Could be.
Just every now and then you see things released by artists. And again, it's not people I listen to, but it was a Democon and what was it? Olivia Rodrigo or something teamed up and did it a Record Store Day record together. Things like that. It kind of makes me feel like, do they feel like they're going to miss out? Like, will it get to the point, or it already is, where they'll record stuff or put things out without thinking they should or shouldn't? Like they have FOMO. Got to do it,
If it's a moneymaker for them, then yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I could see smaller indie artists doing that.
Yeah.
But folks who commented on the cash grab, and when we met privately before this, it's like these guys here. I mean, you got the CDs of the concert in advance.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm a little bit annoyed that, okay, now for Record Store Day, we'll do the vinyl like what we did on the CD.
Yeah. For sure. I do appreciate, like with AHA, I mean, that was records that were never on vinyl. Or they got to that point after the 3rd or 4th album when they just stopped releasing them in the States altogether. So if you were a fan, you couldn't get some of that stuff whether you wanted to or not. At least back then it was a little more complicated to find, but that's the kind of stuff I want to see. I truly don't mind seeing.
Oh, yeah.
Really never.
I agree because both the Faithless and the Art of Noise one, Art of Noise was the first time on vinyl, for example.
Right.
I think that's a great selling point because I don't care if it's an exclusive for a Record Store Day or whatever. I managed to get it on a vinyl. Yeah, that's a great one. Bucketheads as well.
I mean, it saw its debut on Wax the day it came out, but it hasn't been released since. So it's not a piece that it might not be huge sellers, but to do a unique pressing of it, when it hasn't been released in 25, 26 years, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I agree. That's how you should utilize RSD releases. First time on vinyl, and if you're a collector, here's a couple of other remixes as well that we thrown in. I think it's really great. I just want to show you my FOMO buy. Is Frankie Goes to Hollywood. I think this came out a couple of years ago for Record Store Day. It's a ridiculous buy from my side because it does contain Relax and Two Tribes. So Relax is on one side and Two Tribes is on the other, and it's the cassette versions of them. And I already have them on compilations since before. So if I ever put them on, I'll put on those compilations because, yeah. But that was pure FOMO. Oh, it's such a beautiful release. It's got even got an printed insert to it and everything. And I never played it. I played it once when I bought it. Yeah. I wanted to. Now you're giving me FOMO.
I know this. But it's pretty. I do like that.
Yeah, I love those songs. That's how it works, right? You see it, like, and you don't even think, well, take a step back. You got it already on CD or on cassette, perhaps, or the original cassette. You're like, well, I still need it because it's pretty and it's on vinyl. It's cassette on vinyl.
You had me at pretty.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
See, I'm not going to help you with this. I'm going to encourage you. Like, you're a Frankie Goes to Hollywood collector. You needed that record. If anybody needed that record, you needed.
Yeah. I think it's around I think it was around that time that I gave up to be a completist when it comes to Frankie Goes to Hollywood. I have a lot of different pressings and things like that, but I was like, no, it's ridiculous. I'm never going to play them. I have so many copies of Two Tribes, for example, from different countries' pressings. It's the same.
Great song, though.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I'm a bad influence. I'll encourage you all the way.
Yeah.
So if it sounds like we all had very positive experiences.
Yeah.
I think we all did really well as far as for the stuff we wanted, maybe that day, or if we ordered some stuff afterwards. If you were to see one thing for, let's say, the Black Friday, because I think I texted Jen Sunday and I was like, all right, where's the list for Black Friday? I'd moved on at that point. I was done.
Yep. Ready to go.
And, with given the scope of where we are, and obviously there's a lot of bands having 30th anniversaries and things like that. What's something you would like to see get reissued, or just some artist you would like to see participate in RSD for Black Friday?
Yeah. That's a good one.
Well, for me, I've always said I would like to see, there is a huge bootleg market for the Cramps because of a period of time when they weren't allowed to make music. But I have to think there has got to be things out there that are recorded or a live concert somewhere, like something that's sanctioned by Ivy or something like that, that could be released. Like, I'm dying for something by the Cramps that maybe I haven't heard yet before, or that Ivy would put out. I don't know. That's kind of the stuff I would like to see. I enjoyed the Bad Brains releases, like those rap concerts and stuff that can really kind of excite me and take me back to that time. I know a lot of people don't like a lot of live records, but man, I think some of those are they're pretty special, and I don't mind hearing those. But that's a band I don't see nearly enough of for me. So
I have a suggestion for a Cramps re-release for a Record Store Day. The original 12-inch for Bikini Girls with Machine Guns.
Oh, yeah.
Editions came in a fold-out sleeve, I think, as a poster.
Yeah.
Do that for Record Store Day. That would be a great one. It's a great song.
Yeah, and don't just put it in Europe. Put it in,
worldwide.
Yeah. Everywhere.
Exactly.
That'd be great.
Yeah, never mind the license. Just release it.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I love about like that's the kind of thing really more to your question, Seb. It's not even about the artist or what the music is. I want the specialness of the day.
Yes.
I like that feeling like Christmas. I'm like a kid in a candy store. It reminds me of getting to go do something I didn't get to do all the time when I was young. And I love that. So I want something fun. I mean, give me a button or a poster or I don't care. Like I don't care what it is. But that's fun to me. That's the chase for me is the just that camaraderie and the fun. And it really does kind of take me back to finding things that before the internet, you didn't have that ability to just order something online instantaneously. You had to hunt for it. And that was kind of fun.
I totally agree because that's my feeling as well. Going to Record Store Day, it's an event, right? It should be funny. And that anticipation of like walking into the store, do they have that specific album that I'm looking for? And if they don't, there's probably something else that I can pick up, even if it's not record store related, Record Store Day related. Yeah, I love it. I mean, and if you don't like it, like I said before, I would love a good argument against it. But otherwise, don't spend your energy. Just let people have fun, right? Only right.
You don't have to. I'm with the taco truck or a Kathy delivering coffee and donuts. Like I thought, I want that, for live. I want stuff. That's fun. So,
Love
I mean, who doesn't want Mazzy delivering coffee to you in an Arkansas? I mean, that's like the epitome of making it, right?
that. And you know what? That is a true Record Store Day exclusive.
Yeah, that's. So maybe we got to plan one here to all go out to Seattle or wherever he's going. We could say, look, we're here for the experience.
someone just asked about the Goblin single. Yes, we did in the Goblin compilation.
Coffee and martinis.
There you go.
You got phones.
Yeah. And I had to go back to the funniest story, Paul. I think you were like 6 in the morning, and I'm getting kind of gonna offer called the Bishop, and the lady opens the door. This big truck pulls up, and they escort some more drive on to his driver where he's traveling plants. We've been out at the whole night, just the last he's like, I was cracking with everybody in line for and back. He's like, well, for tomorrow it's during so turning. It was, yeah, that was my funny story.
The funny thing is that the place that I went to, there is a coffee shop next door. And you would think that the coffee shop would be open for business because everybody's waiting in line at 5 a.m. But no, they don't open till 11. And I'm like, who opens a coffee shop at 11 in the morning?
Yeah, that's
People who want to have big coffee that are comfortable. No.
You have a coffee shop, Tobias, next to where you guys lined up.
yes, but they open 1 hour before the store opens, so a big miss on their part as well. And it's a big coffee chain as well, so that's very skilled.
There's a coffee shop across the street in Bloomington that would give out free coffee and hot chocolate. It's not unlimited. And then they stopped doing that last year. But I think that's because there's no bathrooms anywhere.
Well, that's a problem. Yeah, you can
take away. Folks, vote.
Yeah, we
not just anything more.
like right in the same parking lot. We had a store, so everyone was like, "All right, I'm gonna snap one, getting the soda or whatever." So
Yeah.
it was really convenient. But no, I mean, if you're gonna have, I used to the one that I think was an Indianapolis that read one of the copies like that. If you know you're gonna have the additional, you got way to avoid where in the comment.
Get that free bacon.
Yeah, free bacon. We need that anymore.
Candy right there, right?
Hey, you got to check out Easy Street in Seattle at least once because that's just an amazing place to win. You got the diner, you got the record store. It's okay, unique.
If it wasn't for certain circumstances, I would have flown over straight away.
Yeah, right.
And I won't get political now, but there are certain.
Oh,
Yeah, I couldn't go to Japan for Record Store Day because of the political aspect, which frustrated me. Yeah,
I will say this. I'm a vegetarian, but I would take somebody to go get bacon on.
I would. You know what? I don't eat meat as well, but I would definitely grab the bacon if they're going to hand it out. I'm sure I'm going to hand it to somebody. But hey, you want some extra bacon? I mean, I'm about to make someone's day. You know, here, what's from free bacon?
yeah, that would be great.
Bacon's nature's candy, so very sure.
Yeah. So, you can. I saw that you just mentioned bacon butties in the comments here. So you can all fly over here to Europe, and we'll have bacon butties here in years now. You have to look it up. It's a delicacy over here. Yeah.
Should I have FOMO about that? No.
Absolutely. This is absolutely FOMO. Yes. Book your ticket.
That'd be a good thing. No.
I'm gonna pass. What?
Yeah. Oh, you guys we don't want you there.
I think
Is it like Marmite?
Yes.
Oh,
There you go. Maybe after we oh yeah. No, that was
No.
I kind of go full circle, I guess. I just want Record Store Day to be fun and successful. And I do think this year, I have to say, I felt there's a lot more positivity. I think the quality things we have mentioned that would be great to improve upon, but there was a lot more positivity around it than in the last couple years, and I like that. So.
I would agree. I think, and one of the things that helped me this year, and Jen, you kind of alluded to earlier here, having people tell, right? Because not everyone's going to be in a chatty mode. It's 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and wherever you're at times. People could be grumpy. They could be, trying to take a nap. But just being able to have a buddy just to go, hey, how you holding up? What's your situation look like? Even if it's hey, I didn't get this. I'll PayPal you the money real quick. It creates this camaraderie. Like, I have no doubt in my mind that if any combination of us or all of us were to go into something like that, we would be the life of the party. Because look, y'all need to come to our level.
Yeah.
I think when you have that, even if it's through technology and it's different time zones or regions, it makes it more fun. If you're just sitting there for 9 hours, and you grab your records and you go, you're gonna of course it's not fun because you're thinking about all the time you wasted. You're talking to people, you're having these experiences, whatever. I think it creates a more memorable situation.
I agree. You're absolutely right, Jim. Yeah, so I met a guy from Spain while I was in line, and we connected, and the guy's been texting me for the past couple of weeks. So the experience is like making a new friend out of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's fun texting you guys, seeing how you were doing, and trying to have our little support network.
You really felt like I was ground control in the afternoon.
Yeah, but we need depending on when we're up, we need to hook in to buy this.
No.
Yeah.
It's already like up and done. I didn't like, dang.
Yeah.
They told me he was my hero.
Yeah, hanging out all day is the best part. Absolutely. And exactly what you said, Tim, as well. You don't just go in, grab your records and go home. Those are the people who later on complain how expensive it was, and they still picked up things and they didn't enjoy it because it's just another FOMO.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Like, there were people 3, 4, 5 in back of me as I'm looking around and like some other purchases and stuff, I'm bumping into them again. Hey, how'd you do? Hey, how's the thing? Yes, I did. I got, there's excitements and there's high five. I think if you don't open yourself up to that experience, like, you're missing what really Record Store Day is meant to be. It's about bringing the community together. I heard people that are like, I didn't know this shop was here. I'm like, it's been here a year.
Exactly.
And that's a newer shop. There's people that are, you've established 10, 12, 15 years. I didn't know there was a record store here. It was here.
I also think it's funny here because we talked about this before. I usually hear from you guys, or you guys in the UK get all the best titles, but we actually got another one. I think the US get better selection of RSD records than the UK. And of course, it all depends on what you're after, right? So,
Right. I do think the UK always has some good, and there's I know I'm a big that baby. I'm always like, oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm the same way. There are things on the UK list that, but I mean, it all comes from where you're exposed to music. And I mean,
yeah.
having lived over there and been exposed to a lot of European music, I have appreciation for bands that you can't find here.
Yeah.
I bet you wish that
It is
it was a UK exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It is a nice. I guess there's balance.
Yep.
Some balance for sure.
Well, that's, what? Back to the UK, US exclusives. That's always the FOMO. That's the real FOMO, right? It's not going to be, I flipped on it or I passed on it or I didn't go back to the next day. It's when you're like, it's over there. I can't get it. And then they 3 times as much and $100 shipping. And then you go, I was okay. I didn't really need it.
Yeah.
Well, just a minor nuance too, because we had talked about this privately, I think the last time we met, but like the Sony releases in particular. So in Europe, they're using different pressing plants than they are in the United States. And some of the Sony releases, they will use the United plant, which everybody hates. And there are cases where I have gotten the US version from United and it's just been a terrible pressing. And so then I go for the UK or the European version of that because I know it's going to be pressed better. But that's obsessive compulsiveness, maybe.
Would you have that? You are much more of an audiophile style collector. That's important to you. So I think that's that's okay. You're wrong.
Nobody's wrong in this hobby, but some people are like,
No.
really? You do that?
But that does make a difference. I mean, but that's the little tick that you like. That's what makes it fun for you,
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of cool. I think a subject for us and another future selves or people could chime in what they'd like us to talk about later. But it does remind me though, especially Tobias and I, we always have these conversations, I feel, where he's flipping through records and things that are just common bulk records in other parts of the world that are like gravy to me that I never see. And then the things that we have here that we're just like, oh my God, not another one, that then, like Jack saying he wants more psych records. Like there could be stuff that we see here that we're just like a mute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just find that kind of interesting.
But that's the beauty of it all. I mean, we're all different and we're all after different things. And that's the wonderful thing about Record Store Day is everybody's coming at it for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason why there's 700, 800 titles or whatever it feels like. It really it's great to see the young kids come out, and not just for Taylor Swift or Olivia Rodrigo or Charlie XCX. They're really great. Well, it's also great to see there's so much out there. You want Dead, you got it. Psych, you got it. You want Bizarre, whatever. So it really is nice that there's a
Yeah, it's like I said before, the teenagers ahead of me in the queue, they were after Lavish Tiffany, and yes, I was like blown away because in my narrow way of thinking, it was like they're probably after Wicked and Carly XCX and whatever. But it made me so happy. It's a great moment. Because that way I could pick up their instruments. No, I'm just kidding.
It left it open for you, Tobias.
It's like I was
Spend $25 on a 7-inch cycle.
yes, no problem at all. I'll probably spend 100 quid on it.
All right. Yeah, so we're almost at 2 hours. Shall we close it out here?
It's perfect now. It's 2 hour mark, right? So
Yeah. Yep.
But people should understand.
There you go. Yeah.
No, I think
All right.
I agree with you, Tobias. You mentioned earlier. I don't understand the motivation for the negativity. I think you get out of it exactly what you're into. If you're going in with a big mindset of look, we meet some people, we meet music, it's gonna be a fun day. I think you'll have a great time. The only people that don't have a great time are my wall, nice wall at all. It's the bits of wondering what the hell I'm doing.
yeah.
Your wallet doesn't have download.
My wallet is like whoa, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready for Black Friday.
yes.
Exactly.
Well, thanks.
All right.
Out with this. This went well. It's just a car.
Yeah, we just need to fix your mic, Jen.
Yeah, no,
Oh, sorry. Yes.
that's okay.
Right.
Yeah, we got time to work it.
I like to be the problem child.
All right. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Take care, everybody.
Have a good one.